Bertie the bus was giving some visitors and passengers a tour of the island of Sodor. They were having a nice time. It was their last afternoon, and Edward was preparing to take them to meet Bill and Ben. He found it very hard to start the heavy train. "Did you see him straining?" asked Henry. "Positively painful," remarked James. "Just pathetic," grunted Gordon. "He should give up and be preserved before it's too late." "Shut up," burst out Duck. "You're all jealous. Edward's better than any of you." "I think you're right, Duck," said Boko. "Edward's old, but he'll surprise us all." "I've done it. We're off," said Edward. "I've done it. We're off," said Edward, as he finally puffed out of the station. When he arrived, Bill and Ben were delighted to see the visitors. They loved being photographed. Later, they took the party to the China Clay Works in a brake van special. All the passengers and visitors had a splendid time, and they were most impressed. Then Edward took the visitors and passengers home. But then there was trouble. On the way, the weather changed. It was raining hard. The wind and rain buffeted Edward. His sand engines failed, and his firemen rode in front, dropping sand on the rails by hand. Suddenly, Edward's wheels slipped fiercely, and with a shrieking crack, something broke. The crew inspected the damage. Repairs took a little bit of time. "One of your crank pins broke, Edward," said his driver. "We've taken your side rods off. Now you're like an old-fashioned engine." "Can you get these people home? They must start back tonight." "I'll try, sir," promised Edward. Edward puffed and pulled his hardest, but his wheels kept slipping, and he could not start the heavy train. The passengers were very anxious. Suddenly, Edward's driver and fireman went along the train, making adjustments between the coaches. "We've loosened the couplings, Edward," said his driver. "Now you can pick up your coaches one by one, just as you do with freight cars." "That'll be much easier," said Edward. "Come on," he puffed and moved cautiously forward. The first coach moving helped to start the second one, and the second one helped the third one. "Yay, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it," said Edward. "Steady, boy," said his driver. "Well done, you've got them, hooray!" And he listened happily to Edward's steady beat as they puffed slowly but surely ahead. Then, battered, weary, and unbeaten, Edward steamed into the station. Henry and Sir Topham Hatt were waiting with the visitors for the special train. "Beep, beep, beep," said Edward. Sir Topham Hatt angrily pointed to the clock. Excited passengers cheered and thanked Edward, his driver and fireman. When Edward came back to the shed, Boko and Duck saw to it that Edward was left there in peace. Gordon and James remained respectfully silent.